Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, so let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So first and foremost, yep, the market is having a nice little rally. I do expect this to do a 180 and have a back test before we do have further, continuation. But we were definitely expecting this even last night. We were in some long positions, and I am starting to look into, taking some short positions in the meantime. I will outline that in the Discord if you guys are a part of the free Discord. Yes, it is completely free. You guys can check it out in the description below. But yeah, I mean, we have been watching, XRP closely as well. There's a few announcements that we, still have yet to, see fully come out. Like, for an example, we're waiting for Jed's wallet to completely be empty. And we're actually going to be addressing that in this video possibly. And we actually have quite a bit of things to talk about around, like, the Fed as well. But as you guys do see, like on the 7-day span here, a lot of altcoins are taking some nice leaps. We do see 125, 37%, 26%. We do see Quant back over $100. You love to see it. Avi up to $90. Uniswap has been doing very well. I mean, we jumped in at around like $4 something or so. And this thing has been riding up. And also, Ethereum Classic breaking out a little bit. You love to see it. But with that in mind, let's dive in and let's talk about a few things around Ripple and XRP. So first off, guys, I want to let you know that things are rapidly shifting right now in the global economy. Iran and Argentina have recently applied for BRICS membership, and there have been numerous reports of Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Egypt doing so as well. Something to follow. In May, China said it wanted to expand BRICS. The world is changing. Funny enough, and I actually kind of agree with this statement down here. We have been seeing China and even Russia, for an example, and a lot of BRICS areas basically, accumulating a ton of gold. And we actually do see like down here, BRICS commodity backed, the rest fiat. A bridge currency interoperable will, be required. Wonder what that will be. And when we talk about something like XRP basically being that bridge currency, yeah, I mean, it's most likely going to have to be a necessity going forward. And I do think that like XRP is like a liquidity source is a very viable option. But what I really want to take a note of on this is the fact that the U.S. is falling behind. I have said it time and time again. This current economy that we live in, or if you will, like financial system, has been broken since day one. The day that it fully broke was when we, stepped away from a gold standard economy to basically fairy tale land of just printing money endlessly whenever they want to. And I actually said this on Twitter earlier today. I said, they got rid of the, hard money system so they can hyperinflate the economy and get rich off of, nonsense propaganda. And they have been doing so. A lot of the money that does get printed, like for example, like even going back to, COVID with a lot of like the stimulus checks. Like there was so much money printed at that time, and it did not all go to stimulus. Like they were hyperinflating the economy. They were basically making themselves rich off of, again, just nonsense. And we are constantly seeing this happen right now. This is why a lot of these areas around the world are moving away, from, the typical, back systems to, BRICS, for an example. And when we are talking about like BRICS expanding, this is, expanding rapidly. And I do think that this is most likely going to give the US dollar a run for its money in terms of the reserve currency. And also, we did see here breaking news. Chinese authorities held emergency meetings with banks after growing alarmed that an increasing number of home buyers across the country are refusing to pay mortgages. Here we go. Reports of rapidly escalating refusals to pay mortgages in recent days have sparked losses in Chinese bank shares and developer bonds, reflecting concerns that the nation's property crisis may spread to the financial system. What a big surprise there. This is basically the exact same thing that we did see back in 2008. I will say it right now, and I will tell you guys it all the time. Prepare yourselves for a recession. We don't know the time frame on it. We could, put a hypothetical time frame on it. I'm thinking around like 2023 to 2024, probably like quarter 3 to 4 of 2023 into quarter like possibly 1 or 2 of 2024. That's my guess. Of course, like it's just an estimate. But right now would be the best time to try to get rid of all debt that you possibly have. Make sure that you are saving up as much fiat as possible. Do not splurge endlessly. Do not, go out and pleasure spend. The best way that I could, really kind of tell you guys, to do things is, make sure that you are accommodating just for like necessities. Do not go out and spend freely. Put that money aside to buy like the heavy dips, the heavy drops in this market, because guys, everything is, flashing an alarm around, a massive recession coming. And by the way, I think that a lot of people are just expecting a recession to happen like as soon as possible. Like we're seeing, a lot of people say like, I'm going to buy a house like, next year because the housing market's going to collapse. I think everybody's expecting the same thing all at once. So we'll most likely see like a massive bear rally, and it could, even, return to all-time highs and even go past them to have like a wave 5 impulse, if you will. And I think that that's going to catch a lot of people off guard, because we also see like a lot of comments on a lot of things around crypto where it's like, why would you be buying right now? Like the market's going to tank down to like $3,000, $10,000. Like I've seen so many massive, price predictions on Bitcoin, for an example, that are just like, thrown out there. So I just want to, let you guys know, like, prepare for the inevitable. And like the best way that I could say is like hedge yourself against everything. Like meaning, make sure that you are averaging into some positions. Don't go too heavy, and make sure that you always have fiat on the sidelines. But also, while we are seeing, major competition around the financial system, we are still seeing the US continue to fall behind because of regulations on crypto. We do see here, that's funny because the retail investor needs to know that the SEC Gov is not lying to us. For an agency that demands public disclosure, they're awfully, opaque, evasive, secretive, and riddled with ambiguity. And yeah, I mean, it's funny, right? When we really kind of look at the SEC, they have lied to us since day one, especially like even around the SEC lawsuit itself. To me personally, like the SEC has stifled not only innovation within the United States, within like technology, but they've also stifled retail individuals' financial futures. I will say it time and time again that the SEC is no good for crypto. If they would have never have stepped in, things would have drastically been different, especially around XRP in terms of price range. And I just can't stand to like, I know that this is going to sound like terrible, but I just cannot stand to hear these, stupid, outrageous, lies. Like, investors need to know someone is not lying to them, or investors need, insights and protection and this and that. Like, what has the SEC done to, help investors? Like, I don't understand where they're coming up with like this idea on like, I think that we should help investors and, protect them. So let's actually go right after an asset that has billions on top of billions of dollars invested into it and crash it over 70+%. Like, it makes no sense. Also, talking about regulations, I do believe that we will see regulations around crypto ushered in through other individuals around the government. We do see here Elizabeth Warren and other Democratic lawmakers urge federal regulators in a letter to take action against Bitcoin and crypto mining. Now, yes, this is just centered on Bitcoin and crypto mining itself. We'll most likely see, POW mining like tax, which this is like more so on carbon taxation, if you will. But I think that this, and I know that like a lot of Bitcoin maxis will most likely cry about this, but I actually think that this is going to hurt Bitcoin massively. And in return, yes, it's going to also hurt the entire, crypto market until, and I say until, we do see like, for an example, regulations ushered in and a utility-driven market take place. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that we talked about this yesterday, but they were more so centered on sustainability. They're talking more so about like miners, proof of work, mining rigs as well, as more miners compete, and the value of the winning miner being rewarded in new tokens. Basically just kind of talking about the entire mechanism. But yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Like, I think that, when we talk about like sustainability, Bitcoin and Ethereum as well, for the longest time have just not been efficient for like, use cases around like finance. They cannot scale properly without, of course, causing drastic amounts of energy to be siphoned. And of course, the energy impact, like the environmental impact, is rough. Now, also, with all of this in mind, we do see over here. So we talked about, Michael Barr, for an example, just the other day. But funny enough, we did see Riz XRP find this. Our global payment system is badly outdated. This goes back to 2015. So former Treasury official Michael S. Barr joins Ripple Labs. We do see over here in this description. I'm excited to be joining the advisory board of Ripple Labs, said Barr. Our global systems or payment system is badly outdated. I think innovation in payments can help make the financial system safer, reduce cost, and improve access and efficiency for consumers and businesses alike. Now, when we really kind of looked at this, at first I was like, this could possibly have something to do with, regulations around crypto and with XRP. And I do think that these individuals, like, you could, flip a coin and go 50-50. You could say, all right, well, I think that they're going to be bad for crypto. I think that they're going to try to attack it. Or you could also say, well, they've worked on, like, a board with, like, Ripple already. So, are they going to be in support of XRP? We don't really know exactly what's going on. Honestly, at this point, a lot of things just surprise me around this SEC lawsuit and around, like, crypto at this point. At around this time, I honestly thought this SEC case would have been over by now. But, hey, I've been proven wrong on that. But the funny thing is that going back to 2015, it's funny because if we actually go over here, so first off, we do see here, XRP, don't forget what you hold. This is from Jeremiah Crypto, but we do see, Federal Reserve, faster payments. Ripple was selected to serve on the steering committee of this industry strategic initiative, International Monetary Fund. And we do see like Ripple was selected to, serve on the IMF's high-level advisory group on fintech. And the funny thing is that, yes, going back in time to 2017, 2 years later, by the way, after, Michael S. Barr joined Ripple Labs, we did see here, Federal Reserve Task Force, Ripple improves speed and transparency of global payments. Like, I would say when we talk about where Ripple has been positioned for the last, few years, going back as far as, even going back to 2012, for an example, they have been working their way up in terms of like building connections to major financial institutions, major government entities. And it's funny that like this SEC lawsuit came out of like nowhere, when we did know in the past that Ripple has been working with some of these major entities, like for example the Federal Reserve. And we do see today, after 2 years of work, the Federal Reserve released its Faster Payments Task Force's action plan for bringing faster payments to the United States, highlighting Ripple's ability to underpin the next generation of cross-border payments. Now, I've always said, like, I don't care about like talking about, all right, well, let's see how much money Ripple can go after. I actually just focus on one major industry. Like, I know that like XRP being like the global liquidity source is great and exciting, but I just don't think that there's going to be a one-size-fits-all like DLT out there that is being utilized. And for an example, like XRP being the liquidity source, like I think that area is very fascinating when we talk about like the $27 trillion Nostro Vasho account. But what I'm actually more focused on is the cross-border payments market, which is $156 trillion, which they are projecting it to be over $200 trillion within like 3 to 5 years, which that is what I'm actually really kind of excited about, because Ripple for the longest time has put a spotlight on that market as a major disruptor from their side with XRP. But also, we do see set up in 2015, again, going back here, 2015, and we do see here, after the Fed recognized the need to spur, improvements in payments, the task force brought together a diverse group of 320 stakeholders, including banks, regulators, end users, and technology companies to create a roadmap for modernizing the U.S. payments infrastructure. And this has been a long-term plan. Like a lot of the things around crypto, specifically even in like regards to Ripple, has been in the like plans and in the grand scheme of things for a very long time. Framework calls for improved cross-border infrastructure. We're talking about like, sending a payment, it takes 2 to 4 days with little transparency, cost, status, delivery time, etc. Ripple stands out for speed and transparency payments. The task force, received 22 proposals, 16 of which completed the process, including Ripple. Ripple put together, the interledger-based solution that enables improved messaging and tracking for real-time payments, standing out as the only proposal focused on solving today's friction with cross-border payments. Like, for the longest time, Ripple has been the go-to solution for this. And I do think going forward, they still will be, because, of course, they have been working on this network for a very, very long time, for over a decade now. And we do see Ripple enables, financial institutions the ability to operate cross-border payments faster than the 2 to 4 days common today. The solution bolsters the certainty of the cross-border payment experience by providing end-to-end transaction, visibility to banks as well as settlement confirmation. Ripple enables, more transparency in the total cost of payment to the payee prior to authorization if participating banks are willing to provide the transparency. Like I said, when we talk about this technology, it is truly disruptive. And I think that if we can get to the point, right, like where we have, possibly a commodity-backed system again, which I think solves many problems, because I think that like the major problem here is government spending and printing. Like that is such a major issue to focus on at this current moment in time. And I will say this, at the end of the day, if we had a hard-earned, a hard money system, right, where we basically had no more dilution of funds. We had no just like printing and just sending money freely to anywhere and basically anyone. It would solve so many inefficiencies. But also with that gold-backed system, comes gold-backed CBDCs. You could see, gold-backed even stable coins. Like it will truly usher us into an entire new payment landscape. And all because things are backed by, hard money like gold, does not mean that XRP gets replaced or like crypto gets replaced. No, I think that crypto, in fact, has even a larger, shoe to fit, in that aspect. Because again, like remember, XRP with RippleNet requires quite a bit of innovation within the payment scene, where we do see, like for example, the efficiencies of XRP being the liquidity source, being, again, spotlighted on, because again, like the efficiencies around XRP are too great to ignore, and it would perfectly fit into a commodity-backed system. Like going back to this initial statement here, like a bridge currency interoperable will be required because it's all going to be completely diverse in its own way, because you'll still see like commodity-backed systems, but you might still see like fiat-backed systems as well. Like I don't think that the US, and I know that this is going to be a little bit off topic, but like I just don't see the US giving up like the US dollar itself, because I think that they could just easily manipulate it too much to the point for them to actually give up that power. I think that they like having that sort of aspect in play. But again, we don't know exactly what's going to happen here. To me personally, the way that I look at this and the way that I, am planning around this new financial system is we'll have multiple DLT players that will, be utilized for issuance of CBDCs. We'll still need a bridge currency that will be interoperable between all of them. The way that I look at it is like Quant will most likely be that interoperable bridge, but we still will need a liquidity source. And XRP, that's where XRP's main role, is derived as like the liquidity source for all of these CBDCs, which again, technically is still focused on the cross-border sector, because it's going to settle and source liquidity for all of those cross-border payments between all those DLTs and all those specific CBDCs themselves. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As it's up to you all. Have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.